Hi, I'm Dave, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm finally going to paint the Mrs. SlotR 2K car. First off, a bit of an apology or a bit of an introduction, depending on how long you've been on this channel. If you've been here quite a while, this is an apology because this white kit turned up in February and we are now in September. And it was the car that Mrs. SlotR bought me for passing 2,000 subscriptions. We are perilously close to 3,000 subscriptions, and I haven't done this. Well, that's not true. I've done it about 4 or 5 times, but I've had a load of trouble with the paint, and including me dropping it on the floor when it was wet, had to take the paint off. Me dropping it again and putting a fingerprint in it, had to take the paint off. And then I had one time where all the paint reacted. So there's been paint on and off this car a lot of times, and I fell out of love with it. And I put it on a shelf and I thought, I'll come back to you and I'll deal with you again when I'm not angry with you and you're not angry with me. So, Viper, now is the time. Now, the other thing that Mrs. SlotR got me at the time was these Warsteiner decals, water slide decals. And the plan was to do a Warsteiner livery on this Viper and a fantasy livery. And I didn't quite know what to do at the time. And I was wondering about putting some stripes on it and bits and pieces. I was talking to Raoul from Conquest Racing Club. And he said, yeah, but have you looked at the ACR Vipers? They have a kind of central stripe and an off-centre stripe as well. You could maybe use that idea. And I quite liked that. I thought it's quite simplistic, but maybe it's too simplistic. So I need some bits, maybe I'll echo the same thing up the doors. So this is masked up just with bits of masking tape that I got, some frog tape and some blue tape, just to demark 2 different colours of lines. They're not going to be green and blue, but that's kind of where I want the lines to be. And I've tried this a few times. As I say, the paint has not been my friend. So I'm going to have another go, and I'll just talk you through what I'm going to use. I've got some Tamiya tape, very thin stuff, slightly thicker stuff, some blue masking tape, 3M, some frog tape, some cheap crap masking tape, a sharp pencil and a pencil sharpener, a very sharp knife, and a straight edge. Don't use it as a rule, but I will today. So I've got a plan. I've tried it a few times. I'm going to try it again. I'm not going to talk all the way through it. I'm probably going to fast forward a fair few bits, and hopefully when we get to the end of this video there will be a nice livery on this car and it'll all be in one piece, and I won't be swearing at it because the paint's gone wrong again. So, wish me luck, off we go. So there's been a bit of drama since the last bit of video. I mean, there I was, I'd got the gold paint on, I'd got all those decals on, it looked great. And I threw a coat of acrylic clear over the top of it all, just to seal it all in, and disaster struck. The Viper bit me again. Do you see what I did there? And all these decals reacted. And they've all bubbled up, and what I've had to do is very carefully mask bits of this car up and sand using very fine, hang on, 1200 grit sandpaper, and I've had to sand off these 4 decals. I've stayed within the lines, so hopefully I can mask this back off, pop a bit more gold over the top, and here I should only need to go down to that edge because that sticker's fine and all these others are fine. So hopefully just have to mask up these 4 little bits again, spray some gold back on, and then I'm going to print out some different decals on my own decal paper from my printer because these decals don't react. And then I shall pop those back on there and then we'll carry on. I'm going to carry on unless it all goes really wrong. So back soon. So finally, after a lot of fighting, I've reached a point where I've got a white car with decals, gold pieces, decals on the gold pieces, and nothing so far has reacted badly. Touch wood. Now, this looks like a fairly finished product. I'm really quite pleased with how that went. I got away with that bit of a patch in there. And you'd think, right Dave, cut your losses, you've won. Well, I haven't. Because you may remember the pictures from the liveries that I showed you at the start of this video. And I need a stripe down here. And I also need a stripe up here. And up here. Thin black stripe. And you're thinking, but Dave, you've covered it in clear coat. Yes, I have. Well, as it was Rahul from Conquest Racing who suggested originally that kind of a livery with those offset stripes, and as it was Rahul who kind of got me into that idea of the satin or matte finish bits of livery, because I really do like that now. As a tribute to Rahul, I'm going to do a matte black stripe. So I'm going to have to mask this up, then I have to get some very fine wet and dry paper and just scuff up this, having masked it, scuff up this clear coat and then spray the satin black or the matte black paint on and hope I don't mess the whole car up. So I'm going to go away and do this. There may be swearing. I shall come back when I've done swearing and tell you whether it's worked out or whether it hasn't. So then, after all that fast forward unwrapping, I am very pleased with the result. The matte black lines have come out pretty well. Not perfect, but I'm happy with them. I've also gone through and just hand painted in some silver into these light recesses. This bag has the glass for those and the rear lights, so we'll just glue those in. Put a little bit of paint on these fill fillers on this glass, and I'm going to stick that into the bottom of this with canopy glue because it doesn't frost the glass. It takes a while to dry, but it doesn't frost the glass. So that's that. These are grills, other light lenses, and the 4 little rubber posts that go on here to mount the body at the correct height on the chassis. This back section here, controversially, maybe, I've gone for completely satin black. And because pretty much all my Revoslots have got a satin black rear wing, I've gone for satin black on the rear wing as well, except that I've reversed things a bit and made a gold stripe that lines up with the black one. Bit of fun. Black diffuser. Painted a face on the little guy, got the eyes straighter. Usually Revoslot tend to do boss-eyed eyes on theirs, but I think I've got mine straighter. I'm not going to paint the rest of him, I'll just leave him the white plastic because, quite frankly, he's going to match when he's sitting inside that car. So I'll leave him like that. Wheel centres are black. Mirrors, exhaust tips, windscreen wiper. All those bits really. The rest of it, I'm going to probably not use the heat melt system. I'm just going to use some CA glue for all the bits that aren't clear, so I'll use canopy glue on those. And that's about it. I'll stick you in fast forward and build it, I guess. And so it is finally finished. 7 months on, 4 lots of paint on, 4 lots of paint stripped off again because it went wrong so many times and reacted. A 5th set of paint, which, as you saw, nearly had to come off again, but I persevered, and it's done. This monkey is finally off my back. I'm so relieved. No, it's not perfect. Yes, as you can see, as the front of the car comes round into view, the front half of that gold stripe looks slightly different colour to the back half of that gold stripe, and that is a mismatch in the clear coat. I can assure you it looks a lot worse on the camera under these lights than it actually does in real life. In real life, in the daylight, you can barely see it at most angles. It's good enough. I'm not going to do it again. I know probably people like Shotgun Dave and Rob at Swift Slots are going, no, you really should do that again. Yeah, I probably should, but I'm not going to. It's done. It's out the way. I'm glad I did it, but I'm very glad it's over. I hope you like it. I hope Raoul likes it. I've got plenty of non-gloss finish on there in various places. And yeah, I think overall I'm quite happy with it. Part of me thinks I should probably now do a black one with a gold stripe and a white pinstripe, or maybe a gold one with a black and white. There's 6 actual colour combinations here, so if anyone feels like treating me for Christmas and buying me another 5 white kit Vipers for Revoslot, I'll paint them. I'll swear a lot probably, but I'll paint them. As always, thanks for watching one of my videos. If you liked it, you will find a button specifically for that. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It's free, it helps, and it will get us towards the next Mrs. SlotR car. If you hit the bell, you'll get a notification the next time I post a video. And as always, check out this Slot Car channel.